Live on YouTube and Google+, it's Pageant Live. This is the place for glamour and style. Get great pageant tips you won't find anywhere else. Find out what you need to know before your next pageant. Post your questions and comments for our panel during the show. Learn great ideas about all aspects of pageantry. Here we go. Pageant Live starts right now.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Pageant Live. I'm Trinity Nicole Miller, Miss Texas American Renaissance 2013 and the president of Nicole Miller Marketing. Our sponsor for tonight's show is my company, Nicole Miller Marketing. I do business marketing and award-winning website development, so check me out at NicoleMillerMarketing.com. Now we have a fantastic show for you tonight. Our topic is more than just a pretty face, beauty queens are in business. Tonight we have several queens that are not only beautiful on the inside and out, they also make a huge contribution to the world around them in business and in charities. So let's get started with the introductions. Ladies, what I want you to do is tell me your name, your title, and then your business or your charity, and then we'll talk about the rest of it in depth in just a little bit. So let's start over on the end with my daughter Faith. Good evening.
Hi, I'm Faith Tyler, and not only am I a cover model, and I was Miss Talent American Renaissance in 2010, but I also support family support services.
Fantastic. Anna?
So I'm Anna Hiatt. I'm Mrs. American Renaissance for Washington State, and my platform is the Moyer Foundation, which is through my work, and it helps out children in distress. We have a lot of sick children that are either born sick or are in car accidents, and the Moyer Foundation helps them get the medical support they need, the supplies that they need, and it also funds this excellent camp called Camp Aaron, which is a camp that actually is set up so sick children can attend and feel like normal children for a weekend. And I also work a lot with the homeless in downtown Seattle called Operation Night Watch, and I help them with fundraising, getting moral support in the community, and just helping them out with their soup kitchen once in a while, because a lot of people, they're just looking for a hot meal and a place to stay.
Fantastic. Jayne? You're muted, honey. Unmute.
Sorry. There we go. Hi, I'm Jayne Black. I'm Mrs. Wisconsin International 2013, and the program that I founded is called Saving Smart for 5 Generations. I work to help reduce women's financial stress and to make them heart healthy and to give them great money management skills, and I'm also a volunteer with the American Heart Association.
Fantastic. Jackie?
I'm Jackie Thompson. I'm Miss Spirit of the American Renaissance 2012. My platform is Sistercare, which helps women who are in situations of domestic violence. It's a grassroots organization that helps women all over the Midlands.
Fantastic. Steph? You're muted.
Hi everybody, I'm Stephanie McClain, American Dream Today magazine, which is launching out this June, and also the American Dream director, which most of you probably already know me from that. But I'm very glad to be here tonight.
Fantastic. And what we'd like to do tonight, ladies, is we want to talk about what y'all are doing. And so what I'd like to do is I'm going to go backwards, and I'm going to start with Steph. And Steph is launching a new magazine. It's a new pageant magazine, and it's called American Dream Today. And I'm really excited about it because I'm going to be writing articles for it and helping sell advertising and all this kind of stuff. And it's just going to be a really exciting magazine. So, Steph, why don't you tell us about the magazine and what it's going to be all about and all that kind of thing?
There's a lot of exciting things. Let me just say, when I was talking to Trinity yesterday, we were talking a lot about this and what it consists of. And you all have heard of Pageantry Magazine. It's been out for 20-some years, or 30, well, probably 45 years now. There's model magazines. You've probably heard of More Magazine, so it's a combination of several different things. It's going to have pageantry, modeling, and also advice columns. It's going to have articles from how to succeed in pageantry to how pageant women and women in general have overcome situations in their lives that brought them to where they are today. And that's a really important thing when you think about it, because so many people, especially the ones that are role models, let's just speak about pageantry in general right now. A lot of those women get up on stage that have conquered more than most people ever have in the United States or world. We don't know what some of you women have been through out there, but to get up on that stage, present yourself, present your platforms, that tells America what you're trying to promote and do. And you're getting heard by many, many people, from children up to old age. And as we grow, we've been through, we could be abused, we could be broke, we can be born into a bad situation and turn it around and make it good. We're on stage talking about our lives. A lot of people couldn't do that. So therefore, the women of today is us. We have to talk about what we're doing, and we are the future for our children. And if we can get it out in a magazine and read articles about how women are successful in pageantry because of all the things they've gone through. And there are some women on stage today that actually have never gone through a situation, ever, and God bless them. But there's so many women out there that can do pageants, be a part of pageants, be a part of success, that are afraid to step out the door, that have been a mother for years that their children graduate. So there's so many things in this magazine that we want to talk about, and we want your articles. We want to hear from you. And then we want to hear also on the good side, which is how to walk, talk, and act when you're on stage. Because everybody reads the everyday things of happening with pageantry. Coaches and magazines will repeat the same thing over and over and over again. But say you experience something new that could be detrimental to somebody that wants to walk on that stage. They need to hear it from our viewers, people that want to contribute as writers.
Well, that's just wonderful. And like I said, I'm going to be a contributing writer to it. I wrote an article on my experience with domestic violence and how pageantry kind of got involved in that as well. And so I think it's going to be a really interesting magazine, and I'm really excited about seeing it. Plus, we'll get to, like you said, we'll get to do pageant tips and all that kind of thing. So tell us really quickly, what we'd like to help you with some advertisers too, and what do the advertisers need to do to contact you so they can advertise in your magazine?
They can contact us through our websites, and they can also, the best way to contact us is through editor at editor.americandream, DIR, at gmail.com. And we have a phone number they can call us. We're going to be getting in touch and doing a lot of networking through Facebook too. And I know Anne, is that it? Annie? Anne?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. She wrote an article for our magazine that's coming out. Hi, nice to finally put you together. We have a marketing lady, which is with our magazine. There's a couple of us. There's Trinity, and then we have our sales. So we're looking for people that want to show their business as an independent, as a company, as designers. We also have a spotlight page where, say that you want to spotlight yourself and what you do so that you can get out there. We will have you in the magazine, and we have full pages that we're selling to people that not only are they going to get an ad in the magazine, but we'll have an article about them so that you know in depth about what they're selling, what they're doing, and how they got there.
Well, that's totally awesome, and we're really looking forward to that. And you're going to be launching in June, correct?
We're getting the magazine together. We put it on hold a little bit just because we're going to blow it out with a really, really great magazine with a lot of pictures. Everybody and anybody. This isn't about just one pageant. This is about all pageants, all women. We want all your pictures sent in so we can put them in the all about the pageant page. And we want to we want your articles. Ladies, we just want to hear all about what you do.
Well, that's just totally fantastic. And here at the end of the show, we're going to give you a chance to tell people how to get in touch with you, to make sure that we get some people getting in touch with you. But that's just awesome. So let's go on with Jackie. Now, Jackie's an old friend of mine, and she does some really neat stuff. And she does some stuff with Sistercare, which is domestic violence thing there in Carolina. And Jackie, why don't you tell us the stats that you and I talked about first this afternoon, and tell us what's going on in the state.
Sure, Trinity, but first I want to correct you about something. You said old friend. We need to reword that. That's not a good word.
No,
in about 2 weeks, I'll be 50, so you don't say
okay.
Old, Trinity.
No, it's not old.
50's fabulous, honey. 50's fabulous.
I am Southern. It's O-L, not O-L-D. Old. I'm Southern. Sorry, honey. You're beautiful. You're young. I don't tell anybody how old I am.
There you go. There you go. Trinity and I actually were talking about some stats, and I always say, when I talk, you never know at what time you're going to have a Renaissance moment in your life. And mine for me came when my 40-year-old sister died as a result of domestic violence. So, really pageantry has given me a voice and my sister a voice to say, this doesn't have to happen to your mother, your sister, your friend. That's someone I'll never get back in my life. I just have our memories, and I want to make sure that she has a voice to say this shouldn't happen. And we were talking about some stats this afternoon, and it's kind of shocking. It's being talked about more. Domestic violence is coming to the forefront. We are getting some laws passed. Things are looking better, but there's still so much we need to do. We were talking about South Carolina is second in the nation for murders of women by their spouses or their boyfriends. Second in the nation. South Carolina doesn't have big, huge cities. That's what we were talking about. It's just amazing that the prevalence of domestic violence. South Carolina is in the top 10 for domestic violence. It's just, when you look at these statistics, they're staggering. And we've got to do more. We've got to give these ladies more ways to get out of their situation. A lot of people say, you could just leave. Leave and go where? Leave and do what? A lot of people are not trained for jobs that can support themselves. Sistercare gives them the training. They also give them legal help, also a place to stay. And it's not just an overnight. The average stay at Sistercare is 31 days. It can be more, it can be less. That's a long time for someone to be in a shelter if you think about it, a month. Just over a month is the average. And in this time, they try to train them, to try to give them jobs so that they can get out and take care of themselves. If you're looking at a lady with 3 children, she's got to find a way to feed those children. And also, she's going to need legal help because, she's taken the kids away from the father, and all the legal issues that go with that. It's just astounding. And Sistercare has given them a way to get out of that situation. What I do for Sistercare is I go and I work more with the education process, educate people about what you can do, how you can help, and then I also talk about my sister in that and give them some information about firsthand experience with domestic violence.
Well, that is fantastic, and that's something that's near and dear to my heart too, because here in Amarillo, Texas, we don't really have anything. I mean, we've got family support services that Faith is involved with, But we need something that's a little bit more dramatic and a little bit more, geared towards getting these women in. Because, like you said, where are they going to go? Where are they going to work? What are they going to eat? Because, like you told me this afternoon, they have to pretty much leave really quickly with the clothes on their back and run.
Right.
And,
they have,
so
if they have babies.
Yeah. So that's
babies with no diapers, no formula, they just leave, and that's the way a lot of it happens. Is this not a planned thing? It's they realize that it's now or never, and they just leave, and they have no clothes, no food, no way to make. And so Sistercare gives them this outlet, and pageantry has given me the voice. A lot of times, and they say, what do? You get on stage and you wear pretty clothes, and that's great and that's fun. But the thing is, it's more than that. It's about reaching out and helping others in your community. And it doesn't have to, a national organization is wonderful and great, but this is just a grassroots in the Midlands. And, some other things that we were talking about, just amazing amounts of people that we've been able to help. In 1 year, 8,500 people, victims that we were able to, and that's just in 1 year. And like I said, we don't have major cities. We have small cities, and that to me is amazing. Crisis lines calls, we had over 3,000. So you start looking at that, and the part that is heartbreaking is that we had to actually turn away 147 people because there was no room. There was no room. So, there's always room for growth. There's always room for improvement, and you don't have to do a lot. You can do a little bit and still help.
That's fantastic. That's another thing. We wanted to bring Sistercare on the spotlight to, give them some kudos about what they're doing, and maybe they can give some of these other their outline of their business, so we can, start setting these up all over the country, because it certainly is needed.
Absolutely.
Excuse me,
What?
Trinity, real quick. Jackie.
Yes.
My daughter, Paige Clark, who's the host of Pageant Live, is at the University of South Carolina, and she's in a sorority down that. So maybe you guys can partner together, and they can do a fundraiser or something for you.
I'd love to.
I'll talk to you offline about that. Thank you.
Paige is drop dead gorgeous.
So are you, but use that resource, because they have like 300 to 400 girls in that sorority.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll talk about that offline.
And if
that would be awesome.
We'd love to do an article on you, Jackie.
That'd be great. Thank you. And can I get the hotline number, Trinity? You wanted me to make sure that I got that hotline number out there?
At the end of the show, we'll do that, and we'll get that number and make sure that all y'all tell us how we can get a hold of you and all that kind of thing, because that'll be awesome. Yeah, that'll be great.
Okay.
Thank you, Jackie. And let's go on to Jayne. Jayne, tell us about what you've got going on.
Well, Jackie, that was awesome to hear that. Oh my gosh, what a blessing. What I am doing is just, it's like you say, you never know what's going to happen in life. And I actually had a personal experience that absolutely changed the direction of my life, what I do on a daily basis from that day forward. About 6 years ago, I got a call from a family member telling me that my mom was going to be homeless. And I was absolutely shocked, because my mom lived in a beautiful condo in Tampa, Florida. And we just, talking about money was just not something that we did. And so I thought her life was great, and come to find out that the condo was being foreclosed on. She was going through a divorce, and the most shocking thing was that she had not saved anything for her retirement, and she was just entering into her retirement years. So what the family got together, and we ended up putting her in government subsidized housing, so that her rent was basically almost taken care of, and she lived on food stamps. And watching this whole experience just broke my heart. But what shocked me most was I started to work on my own financial story. So she inspired me to have my own financial wake-up call, something, I hadn't really ever thought about how strong my financial skills were. I wasn't thinking about saving for my retirement. And so I was extremely motivated to start doing that. In my research, I found out that 1 in 5 women live their retirement years in poverty. And I was shocked because I thought, no, this is just something that my mom's going through. But in fact, hundreds of thousands of women are going through this every single day. And it's kind of like the silent generation of women. And the thing that was important in my learning is that there's no stereotypical face to the women that are living in poverty during their retirement. These are women that came from all different types of income. These are not just lower income people. They're people who made a good income. They had a good middle class life. And yeah, some of them are lower income. So all of that inspired me to work on my own financial story and gain stronger financial skills, but then to also found Saving Smart for 5 Generation. And my goal is to contribute to changing the facts that 1 in 5 women do live their retirement years in poverty. I've been able to, and I treat this as a business, although this is all volunteer, but I have been able to partner with an international financial firm called Global View Capital Advisors. They have a women's initiative, and so we've been working throughout the state of Wisconsin, holding Women in Wealth conferences, which has been really exciting. I've also partnered with several different organizations. I received a scholarship to go to the Women's Policy Institute in Madison last year and graduated. And I was so excited about that because working in public policy, now I'm able to help work on those areas that I'm so concerned about, which is women's economic security. So I would agree with what the other lady said, is that when we get up on the stage, and that is so much fun, and I love it, I love it, I love it, but that is just a celebration to me of all of the things that we've done every single day. And it's a way to stand up and say, this is what I'm doing. I'm not just doing it for me. I'm doing it for other women. I'm doing it to make, other families stronger. And that's really the heart behind a lot of us who do hold titles. And it's why I love other pageant women so much, because we have this whole community of women. And what drives us together is that we're very similar. We're very goal-driven. We have passions. We want to make a difference. And to me, that's the face of pageantry. And it's the venue, just the venue having the title. When I call and say, I'd like to speak at your event, and I am Mrs. Wisconsin International, it's the title that helps get them excited about me coming, but then, wow, I get the venue to talk about something that I'm truly passionate about and help change people's lives.
Well, that is totally awesome, and that's something that's really, really needed. I'm shocked that you said 1 in 5 women are in poverty during their retirement.
1 in 5 women live their retirement years in poverty, and that's on less than $10,000 a year. Currently, statistically, only 46% of women are saving for their retirement.
Wow. Well, is that the reason that you think this is going on, or what do you think's the reasoning by this 1 out of 5 women? What do you think's the reason for that?
There's a lot of reasons. For one thing, women make less than men. So throughout the course of our lifetime, what we're able to save is less. Our Social Security checks are smaller because we've made less, so there's more going into our Social Security. Women also live longer than men, which I love that. I love that we do, but then we have all these extra years that we have to provide for ourselves. And so there's just so many things that cause that struggle. But what I believe so strongly in, and what drives me every day to keep talking about this and speaking, and I write about this topic, is that just gaining basic money management skills, it's been proven, will increase basically your savings account. It's so powerful just to get a little bit of financial education, and I believe that, you know, getting that financial education is a lifelong thing, because we're always changing, and the stage that we're in life is always changing. Mm-hmm. But that's the key. Financial education really is that key to the puzzle to keep us from falling into poverty, and it makes us financially secure.
So this is something that we could offer to, say, Jackie's women, you know, when they're going through getting out of a domestic violence situation and they're trying to get back on their feet. This is something we could offer them too, to help them get on, you know, track and all this kind of thing, right?
Absolutely. And that's what I always say, is that, you know, this issue, it just affects everybody in so many different ways. And I've even spoken about that before, that for a woman who's in an abusive situation, many times what is in the back of her mind is, I can't even afford to leave. I have nowhere to go. I mean, and they're providing that venue. I think that's awesome. Mm-hmm. But a lot of women, they don't have the finances. And, you know, because having money is like having choices. And that's what I really saw in my own mom, is that she had no choices later in life. And when you don't have money, what do? You don't have any choices to make about anything. You know, just even going out to lunch with girlfriends, which was something that she totally loved, was something that she had to think about very hard and very rarely could do. Well, the other thing I wanted to share was that my partnership with the American Heart Association is so precious to me, because my mom passed away 2 years ago, from heart disease. And it was a shock to me. That was another thing I did not know, was how weak her heart was. But the heart disease was complicated by the fact that she had so much financial stress on a daily basis. And that stress, you know, complicated the fact, and that, you know, she did have heart disease, and she ended up dying of a heart attack. So that's why I believe it's so important to manage our financial stress by gaining these, you know, financial skills. And you're not only doing something that's heart healthy, you're doing something that's good for your finances too.
Well, that's wonderful. And we're going to get information from you on how to contact you and contact your organization here at the end of the show, because I know there's a lot of women, including myself, that I'm going to need this information. I'm newly divorced, and I have no financial plan, and, you know, I'm just making money and putting it in the bank and have absolutely no plan. And I don't want to be one of those 1 in 5 women, and I don't think any of the rest of us do either. So that's really awesome, and I appreciate you telling us about all that. We're going to talk to you a little bit more too here in just a little while. So let's go on with Anna. Now, Anna, what I'd like you to talk about is, you're a nurse, right?
I am. I work for Providence Hospice of Seattle.
Well, tell us a little bit about one of your... Yeah, I can hear you. Tell us about one of your typical days at the hospice. Okay, you're muted now. Hey, Anna, you're muted.
Trinity, show her. I have you up in the blue screen. Point to you can't hear her.
Anna, can't hear you. I can hear her.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
This is my first time.
It's okay.
So
we all had our first time.
You're doing great.
But I was going to say, I'm actually pretty lucky being a hospice nurse, because I can actually go into people's homes and see what they're specifically working with and living with as far as resources to help them meet their health goals. And for a lot of these folks, I just wanted to back up what was said earlier. Poverty is a big issue for a lot of senior citizens, because not only have they not saved, but medical expenses many times cost a lot more than they planned for. And a lot of times insurance, while it'll cover up to a certain point, it doesn't cover what happens once you leave the hospital. And that's where I come in, is I'm actually the eyes of the community that can go in there and say, okay, Dad thinks that he's doing okay and Mom thinks that he's doing okay, but he is clearly not doing okay. We need to step in and help these people out a little bit more. And I help coordinate them with public resources, Medicare, Medicaid, and social work to help get that started. And it's also important to educate the people out in the community saying, okay, Dad is doing these symptoms. This is clearly a sign that something more is going on. So please do this. I can help give them direction as far as where to go. And I think a lot of people really appreciate that because I help connect those dots.
Well, that's wonderful. And then what else do you do during a regular day?
That's pretty much it. I talk to doctors, coordinate things. I'm a caregiver at home and I'm a caregiver in the workplace. So I just do whatever the needs of the day are. There really isn't one specific standard day where, like in a hospital, where you'd say, okay, I come in, I check vital signs, I pass medications. It really depends. I'm kind of like the firemen of the medical force. I go in and deal with crises. So it can be a crisis of a lady stubbed her toe and she's lost her toenail and she's diabetic, so she's worried about infection. So I'll drive to her home and I'll look at the toe, make sure that she's medically sound. If she needs more medical attention, I'll certainly help facilitate getting her into the hospital, but what to do from there. It can also be something as serious as a situation where we do need to call 911. Believe it or not, during the Super Bowl, it was so funny because we had so many calls before the Super Bowl. During the Super Bowl, it was dead, no calls at all. And then about 15 minutes later, that's when we started getting all the calls coming in. Everyone's saying, oh my gosh, my stress level went through the roof.
That is
so
great.
we helped get them the resources that they needed.
Well, is there an application process that you go through to have to be able to have you come to your house, or do they call you, or how does that work?
The standard application practice is you're in a hospital, and when you're admitted into a hospital, you get somebody called a discharge planner that comes in, and usually this is a social worker, and what the social worker will do is say, okay, here's what you have, here's what you need to accomplish to get better. We're going to admit you into hospice, or we're going to recommend that you go to hospice, and they will help set you up with the resources that you need and actually make it happen. And so once these folks are discharged from the hospital, usually within 24 to 72 hours later, we'll have someone called an admissions nurse come in. And the admissions nurse will take a look at the home environment, take a look at the family environment, look at insurance, look at the medications and the treatments involved, and they'll set up a basic plan of how the patient is going to be cared for through our services. Mm-hmm. And then once that plan is established, the hospice nurse case manager will then go out there once a week, twice a week, and make sure that the plan is being followed and it's progressing towards the proper goals. And whether that goal is to get better, to get worse, to sometimes we've had people come onto our services who simply don't have homes at all. They'll be discharged from a situation, let's say a domestic violence situation, back out into the community because they have nowhere else to go, and they'll go to a hotel, and the social worker will have to go out there and help get them coordinated with Section 8 housing or with services or a church community that can help support that person.
Wow. Well, that's a really neat deal that you're doing, and I had no idea that's what you were doing. I just thought you were an RN. I had no idea the intricacies of what you were doing. So that is absolutely amazing, and we're going to get some more.
We do a lot. It's a very, very rewarding job.
We're going to get some more information from you, too, at the end of the show, too. And I saved my daughter, Faith, here at the end for last for a reason. Faith is an amazing girl, okay? She was the 2010 talent winner at American Renaissance and sang Carrie Underwood. Everybody cried. She won hands down. It was totally awesome. She also volunteers for the domestic violence people there here in Amarillo, which we don't have a whole lot going on, but we have enough to where we're, at least trying to help. But she's also a cover model, and it is so exciting to me having a daughter that's a cover model, because she's actually done magazine covers, and she's getting ready to do a really fun project. So Faith, why don't you tell us about being a model and how much fun it is for you, and then how you're going to use that modeling with your charity work.
Okay, well, when I got into the pageantry system, I was trying to get into there to go ahead and raise awareness for family support services and other organizations that helped with domestic violence and women and children that were in distress. And then when I won that title and got that awareness, I decided to, continue into that career, except move a little bit into the modeling world, and that was just, it's been a fantastic experience the last couple of years. And one of the big things that I'm trying to raise awareness for right now is that through my modeling is actually for gastroparesis, and that's a condition where your stomach has most paralysis. It's not completely paralyzed, but it's like paresis is what they say. And that was something that really struck me, was a lot of women. It's very predominant in women. 80% of people with gastroparesis are women, and doctors really don't know why yet. But what happens is the women lose a lot of weight just for no good reason, and they get very sick, and then they are hospitalized, and a lot of times they're waved off for eating disorders, anorexia, bulimia, and they're dying. And so when I started looking at this and I started researching it, it just kind of shocked me. And I was diagnosed with gastroparesis a year and a half ago. So what I want to do is, when I looked for something that had awareness for gastroparesis, there was really nothing there because it was a newer condition and not a lot of doctors knew a lot about it. They were giving prescriptions for gastroparesis that were actually for other complete disorders, and it just really wasn't working. So what I want to do is use my modeling career to boost the awareness of gastroparesis so that we can get some funding to look for some cures, some better treatments, anything that'll help these, women feel better. A project that I'm doing right now is I'm going out for Maxim's Hometown Hotties in a couple of months, and that'll be really fun. We've got some great photographers and makeup artists collaborating for that. And, that's what I want to do, is I want to use my modeling, and I want to talk about this and be like, yeah, this is a very serious condition, that women can have. Men get it too, but like I said, it's 80% dominant in women. And I want something to change about why this isn't being recognized as a medical condition and why this isn't being more thoroughly looked into. And I honestly believe that it's the funding of, the problem. Like, nobody really knows what it is, so nobody's trying to get funding for it, and I think if we got some funding for it, we'd come up with some amazing results for these women. So that's been my plan for 2013, is to try to raise some awareness for gastroparesis patients and do that through my modeling.
Well, that's really neat. And tell them how you got it.
Oh.
that's a really important part of it. And I did do some research today before you came on, and there's a lot of women, that's exactly how they're getting it, and that's why it's predominantly women. So tell them about that.
When I was 18 weeks pregnant with my daughter, Emma, I was stomped on by her father with a steel-toed boot, which damaged the nerves in my stomach and caused me to have gastroparesis, which is paralysis of the stomach. So it's a permanent condition. There's no cures. There's just certain medications that will help you become more comfortable. But what the patient faces, or the victim faces, is uncontrollable chronic nausea, vomiting, weight loss without trying, no appetite. When you do eat, you eat very small amounts because you feel full very quickly. It's a very ugly condition. And women, it is predominant in women, and a lot of the reasons that they think that diabetes can cause it, but domestic violence is one of the sole causes of that. So much stomach trauma will cause your nerves to, become malfunctioned. And then that's how you get the condition.
Well, that's true. And Faith and I are thinking about starting an organization here in town to try to bring some awareness, try to bring some support, and try to get some fundraising going for this kind of thing, because now that she's got it, and I've been around her having to take the medication and the way that she feels, and she has lost a whole lot of weight. And a lot of times, she gets a stigma, oh, you're anorexic, oh, you're bulimic, oh, you're a pageant queen, and you're starving yourself. No, she's not. She has a condition that was brought on by domestic violence, and people don't even look at that. They just look at her and go, oh, yeah, skinny little pageant queen. So we're having to, try to put that stigma down, and we're trying to, bring some awareness to this. And I think she's doing an amazing job, and I'm really proud of you, honey. I really am.
Thanks. Well, and like you were saying, there's a lot of hype about that. Like, a lot of, people come up to me and they're just like, oh, don't you ever eat, or, you need to put some weight on your bones, you know what I mean? Or when I say I've got a pageant, title, or if I say I'm a model, they're like, oh, that's why you're so skinny. All right. So, are you going to the bathroom? And I'm kind of like, no, like, if you guys only knew. And I think a lot of women feel that way. I recently joined a group on inspire.com for people with gastroparesis, and so many women are at a point where they don't know how to tell their friends. They don't know really how to tell their family. They can't go out because you can't drink alcohol, no nicotine, no caffeine. I mean, you're on a complete medical diet. They stick you on just, stuff that an 80-year-old probably would take, and they just kind of try to get you to be as comfortable as possible. So as a young woman, that really puts a damper on your life, and it can, stop you from doing the things that you really want to do with your life. And I don't think that that's how it should be at all. I think people should be aware of it, and I think that they should be understanding of it, and I think that we need to be helping these women, fulfill whatever dreams they have while they have these conditions.
That's true. And Steph, she is in the process of writing an article about this for your magazine. All the rest
I would love to hear her more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She is writing an article for your magazine. I'm trying to push on her to get her to, get it so we can get it in, but it's going to be awesome. And the rest of you ladies, too, need to really think about writing articles, because what you're doing is amazing, and everyone needs to know about it. And if you write an article about it and tell us all about it, then we can, get the readership out there, and we can get you some more awareness, and we can get, Jackie some more, money to put in some more places. And, Jayne, we can get more people getting in touch with you, so we can find out about how not to be poor when we're old, because that's scaring me now. I'm just sitting here thinking about being poor.
I know, especially us 50-year-olds.
I know. I'm afraid. I'm totally afraid. I don't want to be old and poor, and, it's just crazy to me. So,
well, your daughter's beautiful. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but my God, and you have so much to tell. And I hope that you do a whole segment on what you have. All of you ladies have a lot to talk about, but there's a lot there going on that so many of us don't even know about. Well,
I know, and it's fantastic that you're bringing out a new magazine, because like you and I were visiting about the other day, there needs to be more than one pageant magazine. Mm-hmm. There needs to be several pageant magazines, and yours is going to be more towards women empowerment, which is amazing, because we can tell our stories, and we can show the world what all we're doing besides going to appearances and wearing our crowns and all this and that. And of course, you're going to have the how to put on your makeup and how to walk in heels and all that, but it really inspires me to hear about other women, so I don't feel so alone out here thinking, oh God, I can't tell everybody what happened to me, because then they're going to, think I'm some kind of weirdo and nobody's going to want to hang out with me. And the more I've talked about what's gone on with me and what's gone on with my daughter, and I know the rest of you have done the same, all of us out there have something bad going on in our lives. And when you bring it out to the forefront, then you can get some exposure and get some support, and that's what we need to get through it. And we as women need to band together and get through things together instead of doing everything in competition. So I think that's really cool. I really do. Do any of you ladies want to ask each other anything? Because I know we're kind of like-minded tonight. We've kind of got the same type synergy going on. So do y'all want to ask each other any questions?
Well, I wanted to ask, I think it's Jackie. Hi, Jackie. I would like to do an article on you, but I have a question.
Sure.
You are talking about the Carolinas, this problem going on. Mm-hmm. Is it the same in all states?
Actually, it's pretty staggering. Let me grab that real quick. I've got those stats here somewhere.
And what can we do to help out by putting the word out to help raise money so that whether it's one person or 112 women have a place to stay? We've all been in domestic violence, I'm sure. Some of us have not. But if you have, and you don't have anywhere to go but to this place, the worst thing you want is, I'm getting a lot of feedback, to be turned away. So how can we help raise money, or how much will it take a night?
Well, actually, small amounts of money are, they go so far in an organization like this. You were asking me nationally, 2010, 1,800 women were killed in the United States as a result of domestic violence. That's 1,800. I mean, that's an amazing amount. It's staggering. But when you start a grassroots organization like Sistercare, right now we're in 5 counties. They started out in Columbia, the Richland County area, and they branched out to Kershaw, Lexington, all different counties. Small amounts of money can go a long way in an organization like this.
What small amount? $5? Should we do can we do a little event thing?
Absolutely. I mean, they've done silent auctions. They've done different things that have raised money. They have private contributors. They've gone out and gotten funding from corporations, and the plumbing company that I also work for has actually gone and donated time and money and resources to help. I mean, they're houses. These are functioning houses. They have plumbing issues. They have electrical issues. The community has really rallied around Sistercare, and they've made it a priority. All of their events are highly attended. I mean, it's amazing how many people come to each event because there's so many people involved. Small companies, larger companies. Like I said, my plumbing company, they go in if they have a plumbing issue and they take care of it. All of these houses, of course, are secret. It's not like you can just pull up an address and go, oh, I'm going to go help out today. These are all very secret addresses. And, you know, the plumbers may not even realize what they're working on. It's just amazing. The community is there, and they will support. I think the key to the whole thing is the education process. When people learn what there is to offer and how many women are affected, and not just women, the children. You know, boys, when they see this, they're 10 times more likely to abuse than the child who doesn't see this. So you have to think of the residual effects of this abuse. And once the community is educated and they realize it doesn't take that much to really help, of course we love large amounts of money, but the education process of the community is the key. You've got to have the support of your community, or this is for nothing. So we really have, and it's amazing.
Jackie, that's why I think it's so important for you to get out there to the University of South Carolina, because those are very young people, and then they can see really, you know, what is really going on, and they really can make a difference because they really rally around the community there. I know that.
And also, and Paige's age, no one is immune to this. That's what a lot of people don't understand. These young girls, Paige's age and younger, are being abused by their boyfriends, and, you know, I mean, it's amazing. You know, you just don't think that far flung, like trickle-down effect. If someone had hurt me when I was young, my parents would have taken, you know, steps to make sure that didn't happen. And now these girls are at college, and the parents don't always see them, you know, every day. So you know, it's just amazing the amount of people and the wide scope that this really does affect.
Do you do some kind of classes that help these women get out of there?
Education. They had, usually in 1 year, they hold about 200 classes. We can attend those classes, we can talk, and then, of course, I've attended the classes and gone through the whole process, and also taken some on my own. But, yeah, Sistercare provides about 200 classes a year to educate. And then we go out into the community, to churches and to organizations, and speak on domestic violence and Sistercare. Am I still there?
I just thought I'd cut it.
Okay.
Because I can ask all you ladies all these questions. I'm making notes. So.
Well, domestic violence is a huge thing. Hey, Faith, why don't you briefly tell us about Daisy and what we're handling here in Amarillo with the domestic violence and how we're not really getting any help?
Were you talking to me?
Faith,
Did somebody
yeah.
say anything?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
About what happened with Daisy and the sentence that the guy got, and just briefly what happened there, and how we're not really getting anything done here, and we need a Sistercare. Is what we need.
Yeah,
Tell us
we
about
do. Like, one of my modeling friends a couple of years ago, Daisy Strout, she was in her 20s, and she was ran over by her boyfriend in in a Chevy Avalanche. She died, and the boyfriend that she had ended up getting, what was it, like less than a year in jail, and then once a year he had to be in jail on the death of her anniversary. I mean, he pled guilty. I mean, he did it. And nobody, I mean, it didn't make giant news. Nothing really happened with it. And people that knew Daisy personally, people that had worked with Daisy, photographers that were friends of mine that had worked with Daisy, were in shock. And once a year, they participate in a 5K walk around Amarillo that says, we're against this. We're against domestic violence, and in loving memory of Daisy Strout. But, I mean, that's the coverage we're getting, and it's just like when we look at organizations that are like, okay, what can we do? We're not getting any feedback back. So we need to bring in some big guns, apparently, because, I mean, it's bad here. The stories I hear from modeling friends of mine, from non-modeling friends of mine, about the way that men are treating women in this day and age is wrong. And that needs to stop.
Well, the deal is, the guy got 120 days in jail, and then he has to spend her birthday every year for the next 10 years in jail, and that's all he got. That was it. And he ran over her.
And her daughter is now an orphan, and I mean, it's sad. Like, it was horrible.
Yeah, and she was the bartender here in town and a model. She's one of Faith's modeling friends. This is just, some young girl here, and nothing was done. I'm sorry, the girl was murdered, and nothing was done. That's what I'm talking about. We need, something like a Sistercare, somebody out here screaming, and that's why Faith and I are going to try to get out there and really get involved in this domestic violence thing here, because with the Crown, like all of y'all were talking about, with the Crown, you can get into places and you can see people, and people listen to you more if you've got a crown on your head than you do if you don't. So we're going to do this to try to, do some of this kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Anybody else have any questions for each other?
This is Jayne. I just wanted to say thank you, Faith, for sharing what you did. It's not always easy to share, those personal things, but to encourage you in just the whole abuse situation and trying to gain awareness for what you were talking about. My thing, what I have learned, is just keep talking. Don't ever stop talking about it. Just talk about it. Ask people if you can come speak. And then also talk to, and this is something that I learned, and I never did it before, but 3 years ago I started talking to my representatives. I started getting involved in, not politics per se, but I started getting involved with organizations that were passionate about the same things that I was. And that's my whole goal, is not to stop talking about it, because my mom was a talker. That's how she got things done, and I'm just not going to stop talking, and I encourage you to do the same. And I'll start talking about what you were talking about, and help open up doors, and that's how women get things done. I always say to the women I'm speaking to, women use like 90% more words than men do in a day. That's why men, when they come home, they're like talked out. But women, we just keep talking. But that's how we get things done. So just a little word of encouragement. We'll get there. We'll get there with all of this. We'll just keep working together and keep talking about it.
That's awesome.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, let's start.
And I definitely appreciate anything that, any awareness we can get about the topic. Right. Let's do it.
Absolutely. You girls need to write your articles, because that's going to help us too, and put them in Steph's magazine.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Let's start over here at the end with Faith. And what I want y'all to do is tell us how we can get a hold of you and your organization, because everything y'all said tonight I'm interested in, and I know our viewing audience is interested in. So let's go ahead and tell us how we can get a hold of you so we can get some information, okay?
All right. You can get a hold of me. I've got a couple of ways. I have a Model Mayhem. It's under Faith Tyler. I also have an Inspire.com account for anybody that's watching right now that suffers from a GI mobility disease, gastroparesis, anything like that. It's a great website to go ahead and just talk to other people that have it. I also have a website through my agency, Nicole Miller Marketing, NicoleMillerMarketing.com/Faith Tyler Cover Model. And I have a Facebook that's a public figure page, Faith Tyler. And any of those ways is a great way to get a hold of me, honestly. That's what I check the most. And like I said, the Inspire.com, if you know anybody who has it, or if you have it yourself, I mean, it's a great site to go ahead and just talk.
Fantastic. Anna, how do we get a hold of you, honey?
So the best way to get a hold of me really is through Facebook. Just Anna Hiatt in Seattle, Washington, and just message me. That's the easiest and fastest way that I have access to. But you can also get a hold of my organization through Google. It's Operation Night Watch. It's a homeless shelter, and they also support any help that they can get. And then my organization is the Moyer Foundation, which again you can Google them. It's started by Jayne Moyer, and the camp that they fund is called Camp Aaron.
Fantastic. Jayne?
You can get a hold of me by going to my website. It's www.JayneBlack.com. And there is a contact page that has my email address, and that's the easiest way to get a hold of me. My email is janie.black@gmail.com.
Awesome. Okay, Jackie, you're on.
Well, I have my Facebook page, Jackie Thompson Dunn. You can reach me there, or JackieDunn123@gmail.com.
Okay, now Stan, talk to us about how we get a hold of you if we want to be a contributor or a writer or an advertiser or things like this for your magazine, because I know it's going to take some time to get the compilation going, and we want to make sure that we have plenty of people that can get a hold of you and get those articles to you and advertise in the magazine, because I know my company's going to advertise and I'm going to be writing for you and helping you, and I know there's a lot of other people that would really like to see this launch successfully. So tell us all about how to get a hold of you and how to do all these things.
Okay, real quick, I did get a message from Ann, the person who does the ads, and she said we'd love to have an article about savings and planning for retirement. So Jayne, if you could possibly pull some articles together for us for the fall issue, that would be really great. And we have www.americandreampageants.com, but our magazine is a part of that, and on that. Also, anybody can always get in touch with me. Very important email, americandreamdir@gmail.com, and of course my Facebook at American Dream McClain. And we want to hear from all you ladies, and we want to hear from way more out there who are listening tonight, who will continue to listen. We want to hear a lot more of what you have to say in our magazine, American Dream Today, because it's about today. That tomorrow will come. Yesterday was the past, but American Dream Today, ladies, we want to hear from you because it's all about us.
Okay, well that's really cool, and I'm looking for Pam, our producer, so we can go off the air, but I can't find her, so I don't really know what to do.
Thank you so much,
I'm all right. I'm right
Trinity.
here.
Yes.
Thank you, Pam.
I want to thank everyone for coming on. I
you.
really do. I have a lot of feedback, so it's very confusing to me. I want to thank you once again. Everything that you guys say, that's exactly how I feel. That's why I started Pageant Live with Paige. I do want to tell everyone that who does have Google accounts, there's a communities out there now. Google is worldwide, as Facebook is, but you could actually start a special interest community and reach out to people who have common interests as you do, and go ahead and utilize that. That's another way to spread your word. It's in Google Plus community, so I would highly recommend you to use that. It's a new platform that they just started, And if you want to know how to use it, just reach out to me, PS Prevette, or you can email me at show@PageantLIVE.com. Trinity, I want to thank you. You did a wonderful job tonight. I really appreciate it. I want to thank all you ladies for coming. I really appreciate your time. And if you guys ever would like to return, please feel free to just reach out to us. Jackie, I do want to talk to you later concerning Paige, getting hooked up with her. I think the sororities out there at the University of South Carolina can really assist you. And I know that they're really passionate about the community down there in Columbia. So, you know, go ahead and tap into that resource.
Go Cox!
Yeah. I'm sorry. I wish she was closer to home, Jackie.
I know. Anytime. You know, I'm still a mom of 4. I can take care of her.
Thank you, dear. I know how wonderful the people down there are.
Oh, yeah. Feed her grits.
Well, Trinity, it's to you.
Thank you so much for having me a part of this. I really appreciate it from my heart, and American Dream today.
Well, that's awesome. And I'm Trinity Nicole Miller. I'm Miss Texas American Renaissance 2013. I'm also the owner of Nicole Miller Marketing. I do websites and business marketing. I do a lot of my services for free for charity, so please get a hold of me if you've got a charity that you need some help with, because I know you don't have big funds. And thank you so much, all you girls. Thank you so much for coming on tonight, and thanks for being my friends and coming on and talking about what you're doing and showing the viewing audience out there that we're more than just a pretty face.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Night, everybody.
Night, everybody.